And we're live. What's up? What's up, Jack?
Jeremy, I'm coming at you with a cold today.
Oh no, but you're not missing the time, which is important, but you're
That's
sick, right?
I am sick. Not to worry. I don't think it's the COVID. And I'll get better, I hope. So I may not have the power, but today's kind of fun because we're going to be doing some cold text message teardowns, right?
Yeah, you contacted me and said, I came up with some idea of episodes, and he said, well, how about we do like SMS teardown? Like I got a few ones from political parties, and I was like, holy hell, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
Might as well. Yeah, and that's a kind of an interesting one because these are all like get to the polls and vote for my candidate, basically is the idea. And in order to make somebody leave their house I guess you could vote by mail, but since these were sent like the day before and the day of the voting,
they're
trying
last
to
push.
get someone to leave your house, go to a polling station, wait in line, wear a mask, and then vote for somebody in particular. That's kind of impressive, a tall order for a cold message, you know?
Yeah, speaking of high CTA.
It could be the highest, but as we'll see, it's kind of refreshing to see some people got creative and they actually didn't take that approach, which is kind of the inspiration to do this because they're not all boring. Hey, go to the polls and vote for so and so. I think there was a few ideas here that was like, oh, okay, I really like this.
Cool. I'm super excited to dive into. And one thing I wanted to tell you is that this is so foreign to me in Europe. You would never freaking do that. It's just like so weird. But hey, I'm excited to see what you guys over there are receiving on your phone.
You cowboys over there.
Cowboys.
Get it right. Why you don't get SMS spam?
No, it's like a privacy stuff. We really we do, but it's always performed by a company in India or in some foreign country where it's very difficult to shut them down. But it's totally illegal if you don't give your consent. It's something that is very too close to the private part, right? So
okay, and that's probably worth discussing really quick because.
Don't do SMS outreach in Europe.
Not necessarily.
You're not gonna last long.
Okay, good point. But if you do it elsewhere, I think it's a much more personal medium. You're sending text message.
Yeah. I mean,
sending
like
a text
for
to
friends,
and family.
Yeah, exactly. Friends and family is okay, but that's still the private circle.
No, I guess what I'm saying is like you use email for personal and work. You use LinkedIn for personal and work.
Right.
But you kind of use SMS just to keep in touch with your pals and your family.
That's right.
And therefore, to me, it's a lot easier to get someone pissed off when you reach out with a text. They're at dinner, their phone buzzes, and it's some rando telling them to do something.
That's right. There's some kind of urgency as well. And I'm curious to see how Asia is perceiving that. I have no idea. Honestly, no freaking idea. How is that,
Yeah, but the good news is we can just trim down and just kind of like what I'd like to do is kind of pick apart what we like and what we don't like and see if those elements could actually be used in other mediums because the more and more we do teardowns, it's like there's things that work and the nice reminder was we looked at a sales letter from 100 years ago and the elements still
blew my mind.
So I think we're dealing with the same thing. It's like at the end of the day, we've got a certain number of words to make a stranger do something for us.
How many characters do we got on SMS? Like,
so I know this answer because I have a Twilio. Twilio? What is that?
Twilio. Yeah. That's an
Twilio
API
account, and you can do a regular SMS here. Just let me tell you real quick, because I mean, the short answer is it's kind of unlimited. You can do like an MMS. And that's like 1,000. You could send a book. It would just chunk it out in different Twilio character.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
160
like a
characters.
series. Yeah,
160 characters is what you got, and then beyond that, the message will be split. So, for example, a 161 character message will be sent as two messages, one with.
got it.
So this is weird. Larger messages get segmented into 153 character segments. So you send something with 161 characters, you'll get one message with 153, and then a second one with 8 characters. So
I guess to prevent, adding a message with just one character if you're just one over the limit.
I have a fun fact here. What's the history behind the SMS message length? SMS is a standard communication protocol and was defined as part of the 1985 GMS protocol. Originally, it was designed to fit between existing signals, which is why SMS is limited to 160 7-bit characters, and that is more information than you wanted. So you're welcome.
Yep.
All right. There was
That's Jack for you right there.
What can I say? There was one other thing I wanted to add here. And this will be, by the nature of the teardown, it's going to be political. But obviously, that's not why we're here, right? So
exactly.
So whatever.
In fact, we actually changed some of the name of candidates and replaced them with custom attributes. But like Jack said, there is one or two where it's like kind of obvious. But again, we're gonna put the political things aside. What's interesting in these campaigns is that it's very time sensitive, therefore the medium, and then it's a high ask. And I think those two things are really important and really interesting to talk about.
Don't let us hang up this episode before we talk about timing, because obviously that's a major factor. In fact, before I share my screen, why don't we just get that out of the way? I think if you send this text message
in 3 days,
in 3 days or 10 days ago, even 5 days ago, right? It's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's not going to be as relevant. But if you send this the day before polls close or the day that it's open, it's going to work. So I can kind of see this working like an SMS campaign for like a conference, if that ever happens again. You land in Philadelphia for the conference, you could probably send a couple text messages. Hey, I'm outside the whatever arena. What booth you would love to stop by or something. That would probably work, maybe even better than email, because it makes a lot of sense to receive that. If you agree, what do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely love it, especially the idea of the conference. I was thinking also, in person. Like, hey, I'm in this town right now. I know you're registered to our newsletter, or some sort of like reverse hook.
Hey, it's Jeremy from QuickMail. I'm in Prague for the next couple days, whatever, right? And if they recognize you, then all the better. I think we've mentioned this before, but an SMS campaign is best if they've seen you somewhere else. So maybe a LinkedIn ad, maybe they're on your,
There is an interesting as well thing is that they may not have your number, therefore they don't know who you are, which means like, you say, hey, this is Jeremy, whatever, because basically they don't know it from my number. If you go straight for something, it's just like, hey, I'm in town, want to meet? It's like, who the hell is this, person number?
Right, you'll probably get a reply. So it may not be the worst, but okay, so that may mean that for SMS, you're going to want to include that sentence we've so famously, struck from every, hi, this is from. You need the context.
Or you could potentially have it as your signature. Like, you do a dash, Jeremy, QuickMail, whatever.
Yeah, but when do you sign a text?
Doesn't work, huh? Yeah.
But speaking of that, the first one we're going to review is from Stephen, who did sign his text. So let's look at Stephen.
Oh, yeah, excited.
What do I do here?
You go ahead and then you share your screen.
All right, bear with me. I'm about to probably show everyone my ugly desktop. No, I didn't.
You tell me when you're good. Should I actually put it on the stream?
You should actually put it on
All
the
right.
stream.
Here we go.
Look at us. Okay. Here we go. Let's just get one of these messages in here. And if you're listening just the audio, don't worry. I'll read it for you. And these are short and sweet. I think we're going to do like 5. And
okay.
I'll try and keep this to the point because I got that cold. So
It's
here's what it
SMS.
said.
Should be short and to the point anyway.
There you go. Yep. Today's the last day to vote, and state is always a close race. Do you need help finding your polling station or a mail ballot drop box? Question marks. And then it's signed Stephen with Donna Shalala for Congress. Shalala. Okay, so I'm going to draw our attention to the CTA. Instead of like, hey, are you going to vote today? Or hey, go vote. It offered something I think was kind of clever.
Helpful.
It says, do you need help finding your polling station or mail ballot drop box? That's great. That's really nice.
I love it. You have multiple ways of, addressing an outreach type of campaign. Do you actually go for the helpful road or, the sort of educational road? And I think in this case, this is not, I'm going to have to put aside all my cultural bias toward, receiving SMS from people I don't know, because for me, it's already a no-go. So I'm going to put that aside, and assuming that I receive this and I'm okay with receiving those things, let's say, it's a work.
Just assume you've gotten 10 of these in the past 48 hours, right? And it's a thing every election season, right? So you don't necessarily have to like them, because I don't think a lot of people do like this. I think most of us find it annoying.
But that's an interesting point. Like, do I come, already biased towards I'm going to hate whoever sends me the emails? Or am I biased towards, it's like, it's okay, it's part of the normal thing. I'm going to receive a few ones and I'm going to be okay and analyzing, as they come. Because I tell you what, if I come biased toward I'm going to hate it, I can actually play with that. I can play with that, like say, hey, those people don't want you to vote. Are you going to vote? And he's like, yeah, I'm already angry. It's like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to do it because I'm going to stick it to the man because I really don't You see what I mean? I'm going to either fuel more anger to it and then use that and channel that to, a good call to action for me. Or, I'm going to do a different road. In this case, the educational, like helpful type of road. Yeah. And I think that works great.
Pretty cool. I like it. Now, I'll point out this first sentence is pretty cool as well, because they use scarcity and then a different benefit, like a value prop here. So scarcity is last day to vote. So tomorrow you can't vote, kind of thing. Whatever. The next one is like a value prop here. It's like, not only is this your last chance, but it's going to matter
make a difference.
Because, and that was well done. And they did this in 2 sentences. So, talk about putting in, packing a punch. One sentence here does 2 things. Yep. And then the call to action is helpful.
There is one thing I'd like to get your opinion on, is that one of the things, and that's kind of my own thing maybe from my developer background, but I hate when people state the obvious. And then like, today is the last day, it's like, yeah, I know. And I always like rub me the wrong way when people actually send me obvious things, in email, or things that are like, basically...
So
I see you're doing some editing. It is actually. So the editing is just removing all the things that I'm having problem about, like today is the last day. So the sort of like scarcity thing and then going straight to that. Can you actually add scarcity without being so obvious? Maybe the number of hours remaining,
how about
because
this?
I don't really know when it closes.
This is how I do it. Watch this. Do you need help finding your polling station or mail ballot drop box before the polls close?
That's cool. Then that's better. Yeah, I would say it's better for me. Yeah, personally. I really hate when people start with the obvious. It means
what about before the polls close tomorrow?
I think if he wanted to be like super helpful, I personally don't know that, so maybe this is also stating the obvious, but it will say, the actual time at which it closes. So like before the pool closes at 7 p.m. or whenever it's actually, in that state.
Yeah. All right. I'm done.
Cool, but hey, well done, Stephen. Good stuff. Good job.
Yeah, pretty good
Keep
stuff.
it up.
You know what? One last thing before moving on. I wonder, like, they know a lot about these people they're sending the messages to. I don't know how exactly, but...
how could we have improved it?
This person's address, and if they knew this person's address, which I think they probably did, they could just say, like, instead of saying, do you need help, it's like, I looked up that your polling station is blank blank middle school or whatever. Can I, maybe they could have just taken that step for them. That way, even if they didn't reply, they'd maybe be in a, I don't know.
That's an interesting remark. In this case, I think you couldn't come from a helpful standpoint, or you will need something else to be helpful. And that could lead to a different type of SMS.
True.
Because here it's like inviting someone to have a conversation if you're struggling, or even if like, no, that's fine, but X, Y, Z. Where if you actually give them, where it is, you may not get it.
Yeah. So I'm going to read you a different template.
Yeah, let's move on.
Hi, first name. This is person from organization of county. Polls are open until 7. Do you need a ride to the polls? Use Lyft code 2020 VOTE for a 50% discount and get out to vote.
Nah, that is cool.
I stop. Yeah, how about it?
That's even better. Yeah. Yes. Giving a ride, and even better is like, because it's not scalable, like I'm not going to give a ride to everyone, but I can give you a coupon code for a 50% discount. Man, this is awesome. They started on leading with benefits, so that's really good.
Yeah. Maybe this is the best one, spoiler alert. I don't know how you'd beat this, but I mean, that's genius. They probably reached out to Lyft and said, hey, do you guys support this party? If you do, can we strike up a discount for voters? And then they probably said yes, and then they used that for each county.
You don't even need that. It's like, you're actually doing them like free advertisement, because they may actually get new subscribers by just doing this. So it could actually even be like, we got the list. Do you want us to actually use you or Uber? Whatever. That could actually be a good stuff. Cool. I think it's great for both. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And notice what they didn't do. They didn't actually start with like get 50% discount, on your next ride with Lyft or whatever. It's like to be very well tuned, and they don't actually start with the discount. They actually start with something else, like the helpfulness. Like, hey, we're helpful, and by the way, here's the discount.
Yeah.
And it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and the group. It's like that intro sentence that only works with text. It's like, this is name from United Teachers of County. I mean, who's going to be against United Teachers of your own town, right? I mean, that's already building some kind of liking, because they use like the geo-specific. Let me see if this person did this. No, he just did state-specific in the first one. But this one was better because it was county. And so now I'm like, oh, what do you have to say, teachers? And then it's like, oh, a discounted Lyft ride to vote. That's good. The
interesting.
I don't like.
Yeah. You're highlighting to unsubscribe, reply, stop. I wanted to mention that, so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan?
Left that out. No. Well, it's kind of why I don't like unsubscribe. Like, how would I call them? Unsubscribe templates. So like, if you want to stop receiving if you don't change the tool unsubscribe message, people are going to know that you used a tool to send that message, and that's why I don't like it. Unless it's like an unsubscribe header, which I think is an exception, but it just tells me they tried really hard for everything, and then they got lazy with the unsubscribe. I don't know.
Yeah, my point too. And in fact, I think they could have been, it just basically signaled to me like, I'm going to keep on sending you some messages. So if you really, if you want to stop me right now, better tell me right now. It's just like, man, it is sort of like remove a little bit of the goodwill that they built. It's a shame. So how could they have done it without, still being sort of like, probably for legal reason, or how would they actually do it?
So fortunately for us, we've got a couple more templates to review, and they do a far more unorthodox job. I think some of them with the unsubscribe. So if you're cool with it, let's just move on and see what they did. All right. Well, this next one didn't even bother with an unsubscribe. They're rebels, which, to be honest, makes the message a little bit better, even though, I'm not sure if you can get rid of it.
Well, maybe we could brainstorm a little bit at the end as to what's your preferred method for unsubscribing.
Name from one. I'm I'm not being so sneaky with this. From one state local to another. So the person who shared this, imagine they were from Oregon. It would say from one Oregonian to another.
Got it.
Right. So they're using the.
So it's like the liking principle. It's funny. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, but effective. Anyways, from one Oregonian to another, I don't think we can survive another 4 years of somebody. Tomorrow's the last day to vote in city for candidate. You'll need to bring a valid ID. What else can I help you with to ensure you vote? How about it?
There is one thing. Okay, there is a few things I like. First of all, yeah, we picked up both on the liking, which I'm sure you like too. But there is an interesting thing. Is like the previous one, they didn't really tell you what candidate to vote for, right? They just go ahead and then tell you go and vote, assuming that maybe I'm registering, maybe I'm contacting my own list, of people. But here it's really like targeted as to, it's obvious, whose candidate they want you to go and vote for, right? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, but I should fill in that the people who send these messages already know what party the recipient is affiliated with. So it's
like
not
public?
a game of yes, it's not a game of like, let's get the stranger to vote for a different person. It's more of a game like, hey, we know they're on this team. Let's just get them to the soccer field or something.
Man, that changes a lot of things, because if the lists are actually public, so if that person is going to be registered from, Republican or Democrats, but on top of that, you may also maybe know if they already voted or not. Is that like also like public?
No.
No, okay.
I mean, also like No, nobody knows that. The state doesn't even know that until like the voting day. Well,
Got it.
Whatever. Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess the goal is not to sway somebody. It's just to get them to take action and vote for the person they already probably want to go for, right?
Makes sense. Otherwise, you're probably also wasting a lot of SMS.
Yeah. And that's probably a good point here, is like, realize what you can do in 160 characters. This is coming from the cold outreach person, but like, you're not going to turn someone into a devout Orthodox something from 160 characters, but you may be able to nudge them a little bit further down the road to where you want them to be.
Got it. So it's like a gentle reminder that, hey, reminding what are your values, then go and vote for them, right? Make yourself heard. Okay.
So
Got it.
pick apart the thing you like best here, besides the one state to another.
Maybe an unorthodox thing that I'm saying, but the fact that they're using tomorrow is the last day to vote could actually bring to you an easy follow-up the day of voting. So they already like open themselves up to
I think they
having
did
follow-ups.
follow up. I didn't grab it, but there's follow-ups for sure.
All right, what's your favorite part, Jack?
Yep, definitely from one state local to another. But the CTA we haven't talked about.
I like it.
You'll need to bring a valid ID, but what else can I help you with to ensure you vote? I think they're just building up reciprocity here. It's like, I've already been told by this person you need an ID. Maybe that saved me a trip or something.
Yep.
What else can I help you with? Like, oh, okay, this is kind of a good person, whatever. I like it. These are not bad,
Yep, I like it too. What I wonder as well is like, do they actually have some A/B testing? Like, how can they actually know how effective their SMS is? It's going to be tough, right? It's a bit like advertisement. Yeah.
It is. It's like an advertisement, because just because they don't reply doesn't mean they didn't do what you want them to. And it doesn't mean that your SMS didn't actually get them off the couch and into the car and into the polling station. Right?
Maybe they were already about to do it. So,
And it could be, good point. There's always going to be a gray area here on like different kinds of direct response where it worked because they did it and you can track that they did it.
So you notice here as well that there is a sort of a common theme, but I think it comes also from the nature of, what it is that they're doing with the SMS, which is like, pushing people to go and vote. They're not actually looking to really engage in a conversation. They're looking to really be helpful
I
they
disagree.
can carry
It's
on.
like, what else can I help you with? I mean, if they didn't want a conversation, they would have just said, you'll need to bring a valid ID. Now do your part and go vote and let's do this.
That's right. Let me rephrase that. They're not trying to gain more, trying to understand the person really better. They're just trying to be helpful to that person, right? Is that slightly different? So what I mean by that is like, they could say, what would actually make you move, or like not move, but what would actually make you vote, for example. Then that will be like gathering information. Here it's more like, I'm a Google, I'm an encyclopedia, whatever, ask me anything, and then I'll try to help you out achieving your goal, instead of actually, I'm going to try to understand you better. And, like, it's not like, what topic is the most important for you to vote, or like.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the right angle.
I agree.
On this, right?
I agree.
It's just kind of like, how do we help people go vote? Basically.
So what I mean is like, it's probably not a campaign aiming at generating a massive amount of replies so that you can engage with that person, like on a longer scope. That's what I mean, right? It could well be that they reply and then they're being sent to a different URL or whatever.
I agree. Okie doke. Here's the follow-up email. Here's a follow-up SMS. It's at the bottom of the screen. Hey, first name, exclamation point. Gotta love the double exclamation points. Checking in one last time. Polls are closing at 7, and today is the last all-in-caps day to vote. What time are you going to vote for a candidate today? This one's interesting. It's interesting. Yep. I'll get to it in a second, but like, when has double exclamation points ever helped somebody? Ever. Ever. I have a rule. It's like, don't put an exclamation point. And it works 99% of the time. The only other exception is if it's in personalization and you want to do like, and you notice that they're into extreme downhill paragliding underwater or something. And then that may make sense to if you're commenting on something shocking. But anyways, let's see here. You can see this is a follow-up, checking in one last time. What do you think about this first line here?
Yeah, I see you're highlighting checking in one last time. You're probably like thinking like this is fluff, not really needed, doesn't add any value.
No, I'm not, because it's nice that they're calling out the fact that they're following up.
That is very true.
For 2 times, and as opposed to it being like, do these people not know that I keep getting blown up by them? I think it works. I like it.
What about assuming they already did it as an angle, instead of going and reminding them to go and vote, like saying like, hey, just in case you didn't find the time to vote yesterday, just bear in mind that this is not bear in mind, but the polls are closing at 7 p.m. and then blah, yada yada. Would you prefer that, or what would you think?
No, I don't think I would. I think that one's a little less direct, which probably, well, I'm just
is less urgency, maybe.
Perhaps it's easier to ignore. Maybe if it's just like, hey, FYI, the polls closed in case you haven't already done it. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday or something. Like,
got it.
Yeah, I think you may have to be like strong with this one. Maybe not. But let's see. Last day to vote. Let's talk about the CTA and then move on here.
So the CTA is so typical of like it's psychology. So instead of saying yes, no, it actually forces the person to actually make a choice on the decision as to what times. That's something I use with my kids as well. I don't ask them, okay, do you want to do your homework now? It's like, of course not. So I say to them like, when in a day do you want to do your homework? So that forces them to think of, okay, I'm going to have to do my homework. When? And they like bring them to reality. It's a psychological stuff. And it's
sure. It's funny you mentioned kids. I like before I had a kid, I made this like big mistake. We were like,
do you want to go to bed?
And I was like, oh, what did I say? I was like, do you want to have a snack or go to bed? And my wife was just like, you're such a rookie. Like, that's not what he's doing. But for this, do you think it worked better than are you going to vote today?
Yes, I think it does in general. I think this type of approach really works well. I also use that in sales. It's not just with kids. It's like with sales. Is that, okay, when you want to start your trial of quick mail? I don't say like, okay, are you good? Are you going to try then, quick mail? I just say like, okay, when do you plan on starting? because it forces the people to automatically assume that, yes, okay, they're going to try, and now they just need to figure out when. So yes, it works. One thing that would have added, I think that would have made way more, that would have actually swayed me into doing it. It's not just asking me what time it is, but telling me like, right now, there is only a 10-minute wait to vote. What time do you plan on coming?
Yeah, but that would be a dream. Nobody knows that. But
Well, they do. Cool. They do, because at the time they're sending, and apparently that's what I heard, is like on the day of the voting pool, because so many people did it on advance that at the end it's like they only had like to wait like 10 or 20 minutes, whatever. So, that could well be like, hey, just in front of the pool right now, or the polling station. I don't really know how it works, but
yeah,
just in front of your polling station
what they
at
could do,
address.
What they could have done, new value props. They could have said, checking in one last time, polls are closing at 7, and thanks to the mail-in voting process, the wait times are averaging less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right? So more realistic way to just show people that it's not going to cost them the whole afternoon to go do this thing.
What about like, I'm doing the fun symbols, but in fact it's SMS, but hey, it will be like, Jack, just in front of, insert your address of your polling station. In case you didn't vote, closes at 7 p.m. tonight. Right now it's 10 minutes wait. When do you plan on coming down?
That's very good. It probably is a lie because you don't know this.
But if I'm in front, don't I know that? Like the reporters were saying like, oh, it only takes 10 minutes. We're surprised.
That'd be really tough.
Okay. So you wouldn't actually believe
like
me.
100 polling locations in one city.
Okay. Maybe not. But it's really great as well.
Maybe.
Possibly. What you're saying is that if this is too big to believe, then it just negate the entire SMS, which is good to know as well. If your value prop is too high, I will probably put it with a PS or something like that in a normal call email. Like, it's so unbelievable, no one believes it, so I will just do it with a PS somehow. Like, I know this is, unbelievable, but here are the things that proves it.
Okay. Got two more. I'm gonna try and do this a little bit faster.
Are you still hanging out, or it's going tough?
Yeah, it's cool. Hi, name. It's Jenny with State Party again, ! State's been hit hard by the COVID pandemic, and we need strong leadership like blank that will fight for healthcare for our families. Here to help. Have you voted yet? Let's do this one a little bit quicker because I think we're starting to get the themes that's going on. But I like how there's the intro, who this person texting me is.
Yep.
Interesting to drop the COVID value prop. That's essentially what this is, right? So it's like they decided that healthcare was the issue that would get people off the couch. Can't argue. Sounds fair enough. And
you could A/B test even those propositions, but like we mentioned, it's difficult to figure out which one has an impact.
You probably don't even. That's part of the research phase. Like that they probably know the top 3 appeals to the people they're messaging, and maybe the healthcare is number 1. So what else do we know? I just hate the CTA. Here to help.
Yeah, me too.
Yet. How are you here to help? Like, you're here to check I voted? I'm like, what? Okay.
And it's what type of answer is that? Yes, no. So like.
Yeah. So let me just tweak this here. So we could borrow from the one above. What time are you What time will you be voting for candidate?
I will probably go one step further. It's like, all right, this is just raw, but it'll be like something like, when do you plan on, raising your voice, or like making your voice heard?
Making your vote count.
Yes, exactly. Something like that. Because then again, it's like, okay, it implies that I'm going to have to do it, and then I have to mentally put it into my agenda of when I'm going to do it. Yeah.
That's good. All right, let's do one more. I think it's one more. Yes, it is. Ready. It says, hey. I think this is the first hey. Oh, no, it's not. Second hey. Hey, name, ! It's Michael with Next Gen State, ! Final day to vote is today, !
All in cap today.
Look how weird this is. Reply with the heart eyes emoji if you've already voted for party, like candidate up and down the ballot, and reply with a smiley face emoji if you're voting today.
They're doing A/B testing. But it's like the typical like LinkedIn stuff. Put a thumbs up if you're for that. Put a heart if you're for this. It's just like they're basically surveying people.
Do you know what this is?
Is that useful?
Reply yes if you'd like me to send you more details. That's exactly what this is.
It could
but in
be.
the emoji
But it could
version.
be something like, hey, reply, with this emoji if you need more help. That will come back to the beginning, and instead of making it easier on people to request some help.
It's funny to me that they wrote out heart eyes emoji instead of just use the emoji. Reply with and then emoji if you've. Do you know what I mean?
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Even better. Maybe people have trouble to figure it out. And, couldn't it just find like an easier emoji? Like thumbs down or something like that, Like heart, eyes emoji. Like, yeah, fair enough.
I think this is the first one, though, with an emoji two-part reply thing. So I don't like it because it feels like there's a lot going on. Like, I don't...
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know why they would want anyone who's already voted to reply, because that's not who they're going after, right? So I would have just said reply with a smiley face if you plan on voting today. Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good message, but I like it better because I don't know, it makes it a little bit easier to understand.
Jack, I wonder, we always say like reply yes if, you need more information, and then I'll send you the details or whatever kind of thing. Have you ever tried to actually say reply with, and then there's the emoji?
I haven't done an emoji. I've said reply like this or this, depending on where you're at, And then I think sometimes I give like 3 options on like a deep follow-up message, so that they just reply 1, 2, or 3, and it gives me a lot of information. I think the idea here is to remove
Friction?
Combat inertia, right? Remove friction. And so the hope is that replying with one symbol, whether it's an emoji or a character, will get you a higher response. But I know there was a company that tried to do this, where they would embed links in an email, and it didn't work. It was like a polling feature in email, and so it's like, do you want this or this? Click this.
That's right.
And it never caught on, because I think at the end of the day, we're used to replying instead of clicking to these kind of conversational messages.
Yeah, plus on a personal user basis, I really hate clicking on links because it always brings me out, from my email app, if it's on my, on my phone, to Safari, and it's like, man, I just don't want to do that. Yeah.
Correct, Amanda. Okay, well, I think this was an interesting episode. Excuse me. At the very least, you heard us talk about SMS, which is a new thing. How about it?
That's right. I love after the vintage cool email. That's kind of nice to go to the SMS limited space world. And there are different constraints. Like we don't know who you are. I don't know your phone number by heart. So it's pretty good stuff. But again, notice they were segmented, and they had all a similar type of call to action.
Mission.
They just
They
wanted...
were on the same mission.
Yeah, they were on the same mission, same goal. They wanted people to, go out of their house and go and vote.
Before we leave, this is my favorite one with the lift code.
Me too. There's value right there. And it's like more than value. It's like, hey, I got skin in the game. I really want you, and let me prove it to you. And that's pretty powerful, definitely.
Yeah. So good job, Hiralda from United Teachers of Blank County. Okie doke. Well, if you're listening, thanks for putting up with my nasally sick voice. I hope you got something out of it. And Jeremy, just for fun, I'm going to plug our cool course that people have been enjoying.
For sure.
Check out, what is it? Course.quickmail.io?
Course.quickmail.io.
Go there. That's where Jeremy and I put our proper presentations and resources to.
You got plenty of resources. I'm going to help you out a little bit here so you can go to bed faster. But we got plenty of resources. We got videos, we got text, we got exercises as well. And also recently we added some live crafting of campaigns from absolute, from scratch. And, people are going to be really surprised by how long it is to write a 5-line emails. And so you're going to see it from the very beginning when we start with a big draft, like some ideas. How do we actually approach it? Like, do we start with the value first? And how are we going to build the follow-up and stuff? And it's pretty cool. I mean, I personally like, how the message is evolving, and then you're going to be able to see it live. Maybe you can put it like in 2x or 4x, because some of those things are pretty long to actually come up, but the process itself was so interesting we decided to do videos about it.
Yeah, that one came out pretty cool, and certainly it's like our best way to help you if you're trying to get better at this cold outreach thing. You can always take us up on our money back guarantee. Like, just go in and look at everything, steal our ideas, and
steal our ideas.
If it doesn't rock your world after a couple of months, you can just message us and you don't have to pay for it. So that's kind of nice. But anyways, I'll leave it there. We got political. How about it?
Well, we didn't.
Not
which
really.
is awesome.
No, we were fine. Yeah, we pulled off.
So we're still friends.
Cool. Yeah, still friends. Look at that. All right, Jeremy. Thank you.
Great. Have a good rest. Have a good rest, Jack. And awesome of everyone to tune in. And we see you next week.
Next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.